Man, that is a mean song. Thank you so much, Fricashunas, for always bringing us in with that. Get my Friday vibes right. Thank you for tuning in to Happy Friday America on the Discussion Combustion Happy Friday America YouTube channel. What's up, USA? What's up, world? I know everybody's out there tuning in. Super excited. We have a really fun episode for you this week. My name is Arthur, and it's always such a pleasure to be here. I have so much fun doing this show, so you know we're going to keep coming back every single week with some of the hottest, most ridiculous news that's happening on this planet. And of course, I got one of my best friends across the table from me. That's right, Kevin, Mr. NASCAR Batstone.
Happy Friday, America. Good to see everybody. Thanks again for joining us here. Always a pleasure. I love doing this show, man. Have so much fun. A little different than Discussion Combustion, a little different than Mash the Gas. We get to just do some lightning round stuff. This is your first time tuning in. We appreciate that. Be sure to mash that subscribe button here on YouTube so you never miss an episode. Let's go, Art.
Let's go. Absolutely. And we're going to start this one off with, actually, this one's kind of a crazy story. So a bear steals picnic food with mother and son sitting inches away. There was a TikTok video on this, and they're like sitting at a park bench, and they are just at the table, and the bear is eating the food while the mother is holding her son, shielding his eyes from this bear that's literally inches away. And so it turns out that her son, he's 15, but he has Down syndrome and is really terrified of animals, even those less dangerous than a bear.
Yeah.
And so credit to the mother here for keeping her cool, you know, having that calm demeanor, didn't freak the bear out. And, you know, staying put that close is risky, obviously, because if anything goes wrong, that bear's so close to you. But you got to give it up to her for her calm demeanor in that situation.
Well, yeah, and, you know, obviously they're kind of having a picnic scenario here. They're hanging out. You know, this bear obviously is a little bit, I would say, you know, he's got some cojones to come out and into this scenario because usually they're relatively afraid of people. You know, it's later in the year, so they're not necessarily protecting their cubs. It's, you know, past that season. But this bear, you know, it seems like it was kind of, you know, residential almost.
Well,
you know,
it looked like a black bear.
And black bears, you know, commonly we see them in the backyard. They're eating your bird feeders. They're doing this. They're doing that. They're a little bit more docile. But, man, if you were to spook that thing, you know, chances are it would run away. But, I mean, just a crazy story, man. They're just hanging out trying to have a picnic, and this bear comes up and starts eating. I'm gathering it was like fruit that he was eating.
I mean, whatever was on the table smelled delicious. Hopefully it was some home cooking. And, you know, they got a little to eat before the bear came into the situation. But,
where was this?
I believe
it was in Mexico.
Yeah, I believe it was. Yeah, it was in Mexico. Which park was that? It was a park in San Pedro Garza. Yeah, so it was south of the border here, but
south of the border, and it went viral on TikTok.
It did.
So there's a video, you know, down in the show notes down below. Just scroll down, click on all the articles, of course. But if you want to watch that video, it'll be down in the show notes down below.
Yeah, cool stuff. Way to keep her composure. So props to Macias. And what we got next is some people who are honestly selling a funeral home. What you got on this, Kev?
Well, so this is kind of a fun story that I found kind of back near my native land down in, well, as we used to call it in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, also known as Massachusetts, home of my New England Patriots, by the way. So this is kind of a cool story, but interesting at the same time. We're entering spooky season, so I think like this is kind of a fun thing they're doing. So there's a funeral home posted for sale. It's on the market right now, and somebody put up a sign that said probably haunted, you know, right above where it said for sale. And if you know, the New England area and the Salem witch trials and how old that part of the country is, a lot of things are quote unquote haunted, right? So there was a place in my hometown of Wolfboro, New Hampshire called Tuck Me In, which is a bed and breakfast that made the top 10 most haunted places to visit list. I would drive by it all the time growing up there. I never actually really visited it, but New England's just kind of known for those kind of haunted areas. And I'm just kind of curious, Art, what do you think about that stuff? You really think this stuff's haunted out there?
Yes, I do. I really do believe that paranormal activity exists, and that the more that you believe in it, the more that you can welcome it in, too. So my personal belief with the paranormal stuff is, yeah, I believe it exists, but I also believe that my aura and energy is strong enough to repel any of, like, the darkness ones. Because I feel like there's good ghosts or, entities. So I think it's funny that somebody would just go ahead and put this sign. So the real estate person That wasn't part of their signage.
No.
Somebody came in behind
And put it in there.
and was like probably haunted. I think it's funny, but I've heard stories of people being up in the Northeast of all these different ghost stories from people I know, and so yeah, I think that. Would you go stay in one of those bed and breakfasts that you think is haunted? Would you want to go stay there?
Everyone wants to go to the Stanley Hotel here in Colorado, right?
That's true.
That's a popular destination. But the difference is, it's like this place was built in 1850, and that's pretty common back home. I mean, I lived in a house growing up that was built in the late 1700s, and we thought that place was haunted.
Yeah.
You know, hearing creaks and stuff, and just old house. You know, it's just creepy. There's creepy vibes up there, and that's why people love going up there for Halloween season. We're entering this time, and I think it's, they're having fun with it, but I'll be curious to see, where it goes.
Hopefully they so it's a funeral home.
Correct.
So you can buy it and repurpose it for what? Like, you gonna live in there? Or you gonna reestablish another business in there? Like, I guess it depends what you're going for.
If it's a funeral home, I imagine it's got a crematory in it, and it's set up for that kind of stuff. It's kind of like an Ozark when Jason Bateman buys the funeral home so they can continue to launder money and have all these assets and stuff. I'm not saying that's what someone's going to do in Massachusetts, but if you're buying a funeral home, you're going to repurpose it as a funeral home. Would be my guess.
You would think so.
I mean, what else would you do with it? Would you turn it into like a hangout, like a town hall, a poker place?
It depends what's up and coming in that neighborhood. What's going on in that city, in that town?
Well, the one thing they like to do in that area is they like to potty wicked hot. So there's things that could happen.
Go party with the paranormal.
Potty with the paranormal.
So one thing that's been gone for a little bit and is making a comeback that is not a ghost is they are bringing back the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, the beloved American icon. So apparently they came up with this idea in 1936. 13 long metal hot dog on wheels, 13 foot long.
This thing's cool.
And it is cool. I've actually seen it in person before. It's been a long time. How long has it been out of commission, man? I swear it's probably been...
It's been definitely a couple few years.
Yeah, at least, maybe a few some even.
Yeah, it was before COVID, because I'll tell you this. I was in the grocery business for a long time, as many people that know me know that. And they would come visit some of the grocery stores. They'd park out front, and... people could go visit it, bring the kids out. It's fun for the kids. They can go on the Wienermobile. They get a wiener whistle. It's like in that Oscar Mayer shape.
I did have one of those back in the day.
Yeah, the wiener whistle.
Yeah.
It's part of the fun, right? And, Oscar Mayer hot dogs aren't necessarily my favorite, but it's an American icon. And it's cool that they're bringing it back. I don't know what their plan is, if they're going to continue to tour around and do grocery stores or events or festivals or whatever, but it's cool to see this thing back, man.
I would just, is it like a sleeper? Like, is the driver... Back in the day, right? Because they used to tour this thing and go all over the place. So, was there like a little cot in the back? You like sleeping in this Wienermobile?
Probably.
I think it'd be fun to be the driver for that. For like, you do it for like one trip. Like you like do one round, one tour in the Wienermobile.
Well, they probably got like a crew of folks, So you got the drive. It's almost like a party bus at that point. You got a couple of people that are doing sales or advertising, and you got your driver and whoever the program director, and they're just driving around in this hot dog mobile trying to sling some wieners.
Hey, I think wieners sell themselves, okay? And you get a big 13-foot one around there.
That's a humdinger, huh?
Yeah, that's a humdinger. That's going to attract a crowd. You know what I'm saying? Well, so another crowd attractor is our boy Usher, baby.
Man, I didn't even, I used to listen to Usher 10, 15 years ago, when he was dropping bangers all the time. So Super Bowl coming up, guys. The Super Bowl's going to be in Las Vegas this year. Taylor Swift, they offered it to her, which I actually just saw an interesting stat today, that Taylor Swift has played in more NFL stadiums on her tour this year than most teams will visit in the competitive year.
Oh, wow.
Taylor Swift decided not to do it. So Usher is up. He's going to do the halftime show. Man, I think he's a pretty good performer. I think this is going to be a good show.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this dude is... he's still doing it, man. And it's one of those things growing up, because I was more into rock when I was younger, like 12. And then, you had Usher coming out, and he was, like, doing all the cool dance moves and, like, really had it going on and had... the juicy songs. Like he wasn't just like making
A-Town Down.
Yeah, no, but and he was also like, having all this like panty dropping shit.
Oh yeah.
And so as I got older until like my late teens, I started to really respect the craft. I feel like it's overdue. He's awesome, Let's get him out there. I think he's going to crush it. I really do.
I think it's going to be a good show, man. We saw a couple years ago with Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and Kendrick Lamar and
the whole mix.
Yeah, 50 Cent was there, and it was a really good show. I thought out there. I think it was at SoFi. So this is going to be a good show. And like I said, T Swizzle turned it down, but she's also big in the news this week. Apparently, her and Travis Kelce are a thing now.
I don't even know who Travis Kelce is.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you say that.
Who is that?
I'm not a Kansas City Chiefs fan, guys. Sorry, KC.
Oh, is that their tight end?
Yeah, he's like he's like their Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce was like Tom Brady to Rob Gronkowski. Apparently, Kelce and Taylor Swift had this thing going. Everyone's getting excited about it. You're seeing the memes all over the place. I don't care.
Why do people care so much about who's dating who in this? Like, why?
People just get excited about it. She was at the game and this and that, and I'm not a big Travis Kelce fan. Sorry, KC. I'm just not a Chiefs fan.
Yeah, I mean, look, keep your business to yourself. I would look. We're like pseudo known, like not really, but kinda. And like, if everyone was caring so much about, I don't know, man. I'd just be like, come on, like,
get annoyed with it.
Do you not have anything else going on in your life, like where you need to pay attention to
who's dating who?
Yeah,
it's like some TMZ
what does it matter?
Eat Entertainment Tonight bullshit. I've never cared.
What does it matter?
Yeah, I don't care.
So moving along to the Would You Rather segment for this week. Of course, if you're new to the show, we do leave this. You could leave your answer in the comments on YouTube or head over to the X, aka Twitter page, and we do a weekly poll there. You got the results from last week, Kev?
Yeah, that's correct. So last week we asked if you'd rather have time or money, right?
Okay.
So that was the Would You Rather. And so we went 60-40. 60% of the votes went to people would take the money.
Okay.
And 40% went to time. So it was, pretty even split for the most part. And I think that we both took the money last week.
We did.
So
we did.
We kind of went with the majority there. What do we got this week?
What we have for the Would You Rather this week, and I finally came to my conclusion earlier today. I had to ponder on this one. Would you rather never be able to go out during the day, or would you rather never be able to go out during the night? So either it's only daytime you can only go outside during the day, or you can only go outside during the night. Which one are you going to choose?
It's a tough one, man. That's a really tough one because there's so many pros and cons to both, right? I mean, I love the nightlife. I love seeing the stars and the moon and the hot summer nights and bonfires with your friends and all that stuff. But having to pick one because it's a would you rather, I'm going to take the daytime.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the day. I want the sunshine. I want to be outside when it's nice and warm and stuff like that. But it's a tough one because I love the nightlife. I go deep into the night. I like to get down a little bit and do a little boot scooting. And I guess I'm going to have to do that around noontime.
Well, you're going to have to do it indoors at your place. And does your patio count? Like, can you be out on your patio at nighttime?
See, there's so many variables to these would you rather.
You just can't leave. You can't leave your house. Like, you're not going out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
What if you put on a blindfold, someone's driving you? Like, is that considered? No, that's breaking the rules.
Again, though,
that's breaking the rules.
There's too many what ifs.
Yeah. So removing the what ifs, I am also going to pick the day, but I'm a more mature stage of my life. I appreciate the daytime. I like going on walks. I want to be productive during the day. I like to swim. You want to do that outside. Working, all this other stuff. So I'm picking day. If I was in my late teens, early 20s, I would probably say adios sunlight. I'm going full nocturnal. So what do you think out there? You picking the day or you picking the night? Which one is it?
Yeah, that's a good one. Definitely give us your feedback on that. I know our good friend Schween, I know his answer to this.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
We love you, Schween. All right, we're moving on. So this is crazy stuff right here, man.
Okay.
Happy Friday. We try to keep everything uplifting and stuff, but this is something that, is going to affect a large part of this country. So Target, also known as Target.
Let's get fancy here on HFA.
Target. And look, I like Target. I know they got a lot of gripe this summer. With the trans stuff, and it was like the crazy
clothes and
and all that stuff. And I didn't agree with any of that stuff. But again, it's like the Bud Light stuff, guys. I've said it before. I got a lot of shit in Texas last weekend. I drink Bud Light. I still shop at Target. I don't care about all that stuff.
Yeah.
I have my positions on it. I'm against what they did, but that doesn't matter. But here's the deal: Target is closing 9 stores, guys, because of violence and looting and the crime. This is crazy stuff, man. And when you look at some of these locations, we're talking about New York City, Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, Oakland. You know, we're seeing a consistent pattern in some of these cities. You know, I remember seeing viral videos coming out of San Francisco and Oakland and Portland of people just walking in broad daylight and robbing Walgreens and all this stuff. And so Target's like, look, man, this is a serious threat to not only our employees but the community, the shoppers. They're going to close these stores down. Here's my concern, Art. I think this number is going to grow because now I feel like you're going to have the copycats and you're going to have people robbing Targets. Who knows? Hopefully not here in Denver. Hopefully not in your hometown. But this is going on.
Well, I mean, look, you're not going to stop the desperation of a thief, you know. So even if they do close those stores, even when they close those stores, those people still are desperate human beings that are going to be fulfilling those wrong needs regardless of where it is, right? So it's definitely one of those things where it's like, yeah, this opens up a conversation for a much bigger topic of, you know, safety in the United States and people are earning what they, you know, actually earning it. So how I feel about this is it's a shame that who knows what led to all these thieves. Maybe it's like an economical thing. Maybe it's like a whatever thing. It's hard to say. Either way, I know that personally I would rather pay for it. If I can't pay for it, then I ain't taking it. I used to be a klepto, but that was before I turned 18. The day I woke up on my 18th birthday, I was like, okay, I can go to federal prison now. I'm done stealing stuff. And that was the end of it.
Absolutely. And you know, I think even just beyond the theft, it's more of these people going in and looting and kicking stuff over and breaking windows and just organized crime, as they're calling it. It's just what I find interesting is the locations, and we're seeing a consistent pattern in some of these cities: New York, Seattle, Portland, San Fran, Oakland. You know, and sure, there's gangs and there's violence and there's stuff everywhere all over the country, but for some reason, this is where we're seeing a lot of this stuff take place. I don't know why that is. Some say it's for political reasons. We're not going to get into that here on Happy Friday, but it's just interesting, and it's unfortunate. You know, Target's obviously not going anywhere. I don't think they're going to go under because of this.
No.
But so these stores are going to close on October 21st. This isn't like an instant thing. We're shutting the doors tonight, tomorrow, the next day. It will be October 21st that they're shutting these stores down, and I'm going to go on record to say I bet there's going to be more.
Yeah, and there's going to be probably an excess in the looting because they want to get it all in before.
Yeah, now they know. They're like, oh, they're closing down. Let's go mess with them anyway.
Well, and now what happens to the security camera footage from all those stores? Because, like, they'll let people steal stuff until they steal like up to like $5,200 worth or like $7,400. It's like something like that, because then it's like a felony threshold of amounts stolen. Like they'll let you steal 300 like a bunch of different times. Like I've read articles where this one girl, she's like, Target screwed me because they let me steal from them until I was up to this amount, so then they could federally like charge me, or you know, so where all that's going to disappear, and then all the evidence for that's a bit crazy. It's a little crazy.
And the other thing that's crazy too, Art, is, you know, because I worked in brick and mortars for many, many years before I got into the business I'm in now. And just these big corporations don't allow their security guards or even their local employees working there to restrain or try to get in the way of anyone doing theft. And in fact, they will reprimand people for trying to do that, which I find interesting. I understand it's a safety concern, it's a liability, and all that stuff, but it's just crazy that you can just walk into these stores, fill up a shopping cart basically, and just walk out with it.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, if I'm wearing a mask for medical reasons, and also to steal everything with zero identification given. Yeah. You know, so I don't know about broadcasting this information too much. We're not trying to put any ideas out there to people who are in that situation. So, Kev, we got you with a back-to-back right here, man. Yeah. You know, this is one of my favorite segments. Is the
Kev's Random Records.
Kev's Random Records, baby.
Yes, this has become a weekly staple of this program. I love world records, if you guys have been tuning in. So, and I love to see people beat them. This one's coming out of Malaysia this week. Okay. Which is still pretty cool because it's a world record, right? It doesn't always have to be here in the States. But I just find this pretty cool because, you know, we've all set up chessboard before. You know, I love chess. It's a great game. You know, and it's a strategic lineup. You have specific pieces that have to go in specific areas. And so a 10-year-old breaks the record for setting up a chessboard blindfolded. Okay? This is pretty cool.
They got video of this, didn't they?
There is video of this. Again, scroll down, show notes down below, click the link. You can watch him do this. He did it in 45.72 seconds blindfolded. So what that tells me, Art, is, you know, the pawn's pretty easy, right? You can feel those out. You know where they go. But you're doing a lot of feeling because you got to feel the bishop. You got to know the knight. You got to know the rook. You got to know the
king and the queen were probably the biggest, the most similar. out of all the pieces, I would say.
Other than the pawns, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, the most similar but different.
Right.
Right? Because they both have the big base. Did they set up both sides, black and white?
Yes.
It was a full...
The entire chessboard setup.
And so did they have, like, one side with the... Because they can't differentiate color blindfolded, obviously.
Yeah, so you'll see in the video, the pieces are kind of, where they are. And he goes in, beats the record doing it. It's pretty incredible. Came out of Malaysia. And he's 10 years old.
Yeah.
He's 10 years old, and he said his dad, he taught him how to play chess. It was him and his dad's pastime, was playing chess. Pretty cool stuff, man.
I think it's fun. Life should be full of little things that are just for enjoyment's sake. Like it's not like this kid's pinnacle is breaking this world record, but it sure as hell was a fun thing that he's doing at a young age. And you got to push it, and you don't know, like there's all these random things, like what was the parrot on a scooter, like the parrots,
the cockatoo.
Yeah, the cockatoo like broke a speed record, like the speed time on a scooter,
on a tiny scooter.
Like that
was fun.
That stuff's just fun, man. I like the random records, man.
Yeah, no, that's it for this week's random record.
Yeah, so moving forward to today in history, another fun segment here.
Great segment. I like this.
Yeah, so we're gonna go all the way back, starting in 1789. So obviously, the United States was pretty fresh at this time, and it was time to establish the first regular army in this country. So that was the first time that the army was established. It was 1789 on
September
on this
29th.
day. Yeah.
September 29th, 1789. The army was formulated.
It was.
Pretty cool.
Definitely cool. Something that is a little more tragic, but I'm a history guy. I really like the war stuff. I almost just filled in the whole thing with all like war stuff. I can't do that. So we're putting in a weather-related one. But unfortunately, in 1915, a hurricane claims the lives of 275 people in the Mississippi Delta.
Man.
I just got to say, when you've been having these heavy hurricanes hit, that area in the Gulf for so long, like, you got to be kind of crazy to live out there.
A lot of people say that about a lot of places,
That's true.
Folks that live in cold climates, hot climates. I heard it in Texas, Phoenix, hot.
That's true.
Why would you live in New Orleans where it's below sea level? But yeah, consistencies. August and September is traditionally known as hurricane season, and that was a pretty gnarly one back there in 1915. I'm a sports guy, so this one's pretty cool. In 1920, the New York Yankees, Babe Ruth, of course.
Babe Ruth.
Legendary. He set the MLB home run season record, which has since been broken, of course. But, man, back then, Babe Ruth he had it going on. That was the New York Yankees. That's old school baseball right there. And on this day, that happened in 1920.
Yeah, he hit 54 of those.
Yep, pretty impressive.
I mean, and were they doing all like the roided out stuff back then? Like, was that even like those kind of things cheating? Basically, was that even available?
Well, so back then there was a lot of pine tar. Pine tar is now illegal.
What is pine tar?
So it's very sticky stuff that they'd put on the bat, which they would say would give them extra grip
to
really
for their hand.
to rip the baseball bat. Yep.
Interesting. All right, we're keeping it moving here, and this one I had to throw in 1990. Aviation, super awesome. Fighter jets, they just tickle me in a fancy way. And the YF-22, which would later be known as the F-22 Raptor, flies for the first time. Look, the F-22, they stopped producing them. They don't make them anymore. They're onto the F-35s, which are way more expensive, and those ones might be decreased in the total allotment that are allowed. But the F-22 Raptor, to this day, is still one of the most dominant stealth fifth-generation fighters that exists. And I've only seen one fly in person once, and it was at my apartment complex. I'm like right on this military line, and one day this F-22 flew over, and it sounded different than all the F-16s, and I got so excited. So I had to put that in there, man. 1990, the F-22 Raptor flies.
Pretty epic stuff, man. I love our Air Force. We got Buckley here in Denver, Colorado, and I live right next to Centennial Airport, so I get to hear these airplanes and these jets take off at different times, and it feels like a flyover every time. For you NASCAR fans, you like the flyovers, but it's cool. Just feel those things ripping. I don't know if I've had a 22 fly over my place, Art, but definitely the 16s and the 18s, I've heard them ripping over.
In the time, the one has to have flown over at one point. It sounds a little different.
Yep.
I wish I could differentiate it with my vocal cords, but there's no way I'm doing that while
we probably won't attempt that. But great stuff. Love today in history, September 29th. What a great day. So, man, it's Friday. We're on to the weekend.
We're on to the weekend.
Working for the weekend.
Man, I'm saying every day can be a beautiful day, but most people just think Friday is a little bit more gorgeous. She put on her makeup right today. That's all I got to say. What we got going on this weekend, the Ohana Festival, that's tomorrow on Saturday, Dana Point, California. So what is the Ohana Festival exactly?
It's a huge music festival.
Okay.
It's, like we had Crossroads Festival last week. You look at Lollapalooza.
Okay.
You got Burning Man. So Ohana's up there. It's just more great musicians, great stuff. And this is just a good time of year to have all these great festivals going on.
Weather's perfect.
The weather's starting to cool down. So the Texas State Fair kicks off this weekend in Dallas. I'll tell you right now, Texas, I was there last weekend, and it kicked my ass. It was so hot, and everyone I ran into down there in Texas was like, man, this is a cold front. I said, it's 100 degrees out. I had heat exhaustion at the Texas Motor Speedway.
It was probably from all the other things you were doing.
Yeah, which we're not going to get into here on Happy Friday, America. I was doing a lot of drinking and
Hey,
partying.
I saw that you said we're not getting into it here.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that. But the Texas State Fair is the biggest fair of course, everything's bigger in Texas, the biggest fair in the country. They have Ferris wheels bigger than I've ever seen. You get turkey legs bigger than you've ever seen. And it goes on right up until the end of October. So this thing's going on. It kicks off this weekend down there in Dallas.
Oh, all the smells I can only imagine. What's happening up in Seattle?
Man, back up into Seattle. So Billy Strings, what a tremendous musician. He's done some stuff here recently with Dierks Bentley. He's playing with all these big musicians, Tommy Emmanuel. Just an incredible guitar player. If you're in Seattle and you want to go see a fantastic up-and-coming guitar player and musician, Billy Strings, Seattle.
Gotta love some music. Gotta love some plucking. And, one place that kind of reminds me banjo plucking is Tennessee, specifically Nashville, Tennessee Food Fair. That's right, this Sunday in Nashville. Go check it out. Go with an empty belly because just like the Texas place, you're walking through there, all the smells. I'm sure it's just going to be a lot of fun, man. But stay hydrated out there. Be safe. Don't get dehydration like Kevin.
Yeah, don't do what I did. But Nashville, man, what a fun town. Food, fun. I want some Nashville hot chicken, so I'm sure there's going to be some delicious Nashville hot chicken out there. Get some of that.
Coming from Mr. NASCAR, I'm sure you have something to close up the show with that as far as something to do this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. If Talladega, Alabama, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, it's the biggest party in NASCAR. It doesn't get any bigger than Talladega. They have the biggest infield party. If you're looking for something fun to do and you've never done NASCAR, maybe in the Birmingham, Montgomery, wherever you are, Mobile, it's driving distance. Atlanta, it's not far. If you want to go see something epic, just the party alone, guys. The infield party on Saturday night, they got mud wrestling, they got bands, they got live stuff going on. It's epic. And then the race kicks off from Talladega, the biggest track in NASCAR, 2.66 miles. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be crazy. We're in the round of 12. Tune in to Mash the Gas for more on NASCAR. But Talladega, Alabama, man, that's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Strong close on that, what to do this weekend. And tell them where they go, Kev.
That's right. Again, guys, we appreciate you tuning in here to Happy Friday. It's different than Discussion Combustion. We've been trying to differentiate that a little bit. People are like, well, is it different? Well, of course it is. You just got done listening to it. It's a lightning round. It's fun. We're having fun here on Happy Friday, guys. We're kicking your weekend off. So be sure to subscribe. Definitely want to keep coming back. Now, if you're on social media, Instagram and Facebook, we're at Happy Friday USA. So definitely give us a follow over there. Give us watch our stories, have some fun, interact. Twitter/X, we're at Happy Fry. That's FRI. USA, at Happy Fry USA on the Twitter X. And if you want to send us an email, that's going to be happyfridayamerica@gmail.com. And you can send us a segment idea. You can have some fun with us. You can goof off. That's what we're trying to do here, Art. We're not trying to take things too serious. So speaking of people that don't take things too serious, that's the Fricashinas. And they're getting ready to play us out. Enjoy your weekend, America.